Welcome to Blog to Your Talent. This is lesson 20, and we are on the topic of where to find content.
Are we halfway?
We are halfway, almost halfway, almost halfway. And this is fun. By now, if you have been following along diligently
and doing the lessons,
and you are allowed to do 3 of the same exercises if you want. If you feel like this is easy, then go for it. Just go crazy on it. So, all right. Today, what I want you to do is to think about blog content based on what you did firsthand, or what you saw firsthand, or what you read. Well, we already talked about read first. So normally it's what you saw firsthand, or heard firsthand, or what you did firsthand. And this might sound obvious, but I bet you most of you listening to this right now were probably too embarrassed to really start posting what you did firsthand with regards to your talent. So up until now, we've talked about looking at traditional sources of information like old textbooks and summarizing that, and that was to get you warmed up. But one of the more exciting parts is going to be to write about how you are working through the beginning steps of your talent. Now, this is I really want to encourage you, and I had to tell my kids this, and it took for a while for them to really believe it and assimilate it, and I think one of them still actually has to work on that. They want to go to the big textbooks and summarize that, which I still want them to do. But I want you to start documenting in your blog post how you work through your first steps in exercising a part of your talent.
I can think of one of our kids who especially does this because his stuff is so hands-on, and that's our coder guy, who's 11, almost 12. And because so much of this applies to your age group, and that if you're in that age group, maybe you're a little bit older, but have some fun with it. And can I give an example?
Yeah.
If you're into coding at all, you may have heard of Raspberry Pi. And so we had a little fun with him on this one. My brother gave him tell me what it's called.
It's a small computer.
It's just called a Raspberry Pi.
Fits in your hand, and they call it a Raspberry Pi because it's so cute. You could eat it like Raspberry Pi.
I don't know why they came up with that name, but anyway, it's Pi. So, and it's Raspberry Pi, very easy to remember. And so he received that, and as he got better and better and better, we kind of surprised him with his own actual full-on real Raspberry Pi. So now he has pictures of that with him in it, and he's documenting the fact that what he's learning on this little tiny gadget, he puts that into his blog posts. And this other real Raspberry Pi is just a fun way to kind of get him engaged in, it really doesn't have anything. You know what, I'm just distracting you completely.
No, go for it. I love Raspberry Pi.
So, anyway, gotta have fun with what you're doing. And so he has pictures now of this real Raspberry Pi and him eating the Raspberry Pi. He could use it as a profile picture, but he's also saying that taking pictures of what you're doing, and in his case, all the coding that he's able to do, and he'll go back and blog post about that, is a great way to show how much you're learning. And even if it's just basic, I mean, maybe you're going to be an amazing singer and you just have just a little bit of skill right now, and it's going to get better and better. Just, do a video, or just
maybe you could do a video, for example. In that case, if part of your talent involves becoming a good singer or developing your voice, a lot of times when you're in that field, a lot of it has to do with just learning how to use the equipment, the microphones. And so maybe you could do as a small blog post about how you overcame the problem of coming up with a microphone that fits you, so you don't have your voice bleeding over and making strange sounds. And so you show how you did it. Very basic information.
Or maybe you might feel completely silly doing it, but maybe it's your warm-up. Like you're gonna everybody who is really professional as a singer, they have to warm up, and sometimes it's just repeating some silly, but it's actually doing something with their voice, and maybe that's part of what you're doing, is just putting yourself out there as you're warming up. But that's what other people who want to do that in the future, they'll want to see how do you become something great and an expert at something, and professional at something. You have to start somewhere. So this is exactly what you're going to do, is to start even with the basics.
Right, and other kids who are younger than you, or just starting in the same field that you are, just a little bit more advanced, will want to know realistically, oh, this is what it's going to take for me to even just to catch up with you.
Because we always see the end result. Once you're professional, or what those who are really good at what they do, we see the end result, but you don't really get to see behind the scenes that often, especially in the early years.
Right, and that's where your blog can really come in. So don't forget to write blog posts about what you did. So today in this exercise, what I want you to do is write down 3 things that you wish experts would explain to you, or would have explained to you, and you haven't really found a good answer to your satisfaction as to how to get started in your field. And I know with one of our children, there was some difficulty. He didn't have that he couldn't quite understand, and a lot of the experts were so far advanced that they couldn't really understand the difficulty that a beginner would have because they were not clear about it.
Right.
So and there's always room to explain things better. So what I want you to do is come up with 3 things that you wish experts would explain a little bit better in your field of talent.
Maybe it's definitions.
Maybe
definitions. Maybe they're using language that you don't quite understand because you're not there yet. So you wish they could kind of explain if it's a new term, that they would explain it better.
Put that into a blog post and say, hey, these are the things that I wish experts would explain. And then later on, that's all I want you to do for now. But then later on, expect that you're going to come back and edit this old post and actually start giving the answers, because other people who are new to the field are going to have the same questions. And you might be the one that really becomes the girl or the guy that has the answers to that because you really thought it through. So, happy talent journey. We will see you on the next lesson.
Okay, as you create your portfolio of information and you're showcasing your work, one of the things that you should be doing is thinking ahead of what you would like to do. So, Caleb, actually tell me 3 things out of maybe 7 or 10 that you've probably already written about, of what you wish other experts in your field would do so that you can learn from them.
You mean openly demonstrate?
Right.
Okay. One would be demonstrate a forge weld. Look it up.
You don't have to go through explain all that, but
okay, look it up.
Okay.
It's awesome. Second, probably demonstration of drawing out the tang.
Okay.
Blacksmithing term.
Look it up.
And also a demonstration of full-on heat treating, I think.
Okay. All right. So as Caleb finds these answers and learns how to do it and probably actually does some of that practice himself, he will be able to blog about those and add that to his portfolio. So thank you, Caleb.